Welcome to the Deep Dive. You're here because you want to get smart, fast, right.
That's the goal.
Today, we're zeroing in on something uh, really powerful. The art of listening. Got some fascinating material. Now, it focuses a bit on Christian families in Nigeria, but honestly, the insights, they spill over into, well, everywhere.
Absolutely. Friendships, neighbors, work. It's universal.
Exactly. And what jumps out right away in these sources is this idea that listening, it's maybe more important than talking.
Well, it's definitely presented as the engine for real understanding. It's not just about, passively hearing.
Right. It's about becoming well-informed by truly getting where others are coming from.
Spot on.
So our mission today, pull out the key wisdom, the practical stuff, to help us all become better listeners. Think of it as unlocking a kind of superpower.
I like that. A superpower.
Okay, first section title, and this really caught my eye. Why listening is cooler than you think.
It's a great title because it flips the usual script, doesn't it?
Totally. We think influence comes from talking, but maybe listening is the secret weapon.
That's the angle here. It's presented as this really effective way to, well, connect and learn.
Okay, so benefit number one that I mentioned, good listening actually makes people like you.
Yeah, and that makes intuitive sense, I think.
Doesn't it? When someone really listens to you, you feel seen, valued.
Exactly. It's about showing genuine interest. The source links it back to that classic idea, become genuinely interested in other people.
That resonates. It taps into that basic human need for validation. Right?
For sure. Active listening signals, hey, what you're saying matters. That builds connection.
A strong bond. We all know how good it feels to be truly heard.
The source uses that example of a friend actually tuning into your long football story.
Huh? Yes. We've all been the bored friend and the friend needing someone to listen.
Precisely. Okay, benefit number two, you learn new things, like actually learn.
Right. Because if you're always talking, you're just hearing your own ideas, pretty much.
Exactly. Listening opens you up. Different experiences, different viewpoints.
Things you wouldn't encounter otherwise.
Yeah, and the source has that fantastic quote, every man I meet is my superior in some way.
In that, I learned of him. Powerful.
It really is. It encourages humility, seeing the learning opportunity in everyone.
And the example they use, learning history from a grandparent. Perfect.
Yeah.
It's personal. It connects generations.
Then it's not just facts. It's understanding different ways of seeing the world. That's huge.
Invaluable, really. Okay, benefit number three. Listening helps solve problems.
Now, this one's interesting. It's not about jumping in with your solutions.
No, it's more about creating space, letting the other person process out loud.
Right. Often people don't need answers immediately. They need a sounding board, someone to listen without judgment.
Just talking it through while feeling heard can bring clarity.
Yeah, it empowers them to find their own solutions sometimes, like the example of Lincoln. Just talking to a listening friend helped him feel better, find clarity perhaps.
That rings true. Being heard can be, well, therapeutic.
Definitely.
Okay, so that's the good stuff. But the source also digs into the flip side, what happens when we're bad listeners.
Right, the consequences. First one, missing important information.
Seems obvious, but
we do it all the time. If your mind's elsewhere, maybe thinking about your reply, like the source mentioned.
it's just not taking it in.
Yeah.
That homework instruction example, classic.
We've all done that head nodding while mentally drafting an email, haven't we?
Guilty. Okay, consequence number two, hurting people's feelings.
And this links right back to the first benefit, doesn't it?
Yeah, if listening makes people feel valued.
Then not listening makes them feel unimportant, ignored.
That friend checking their phone while you're pouring your heart out. Ouch.
It sends a clear message, even if unintentional. The source mentions that deep human desire to be important. Feeling ignored hits right there.
It really does. Makes you feel like your stuff just doesn't count.
And the third negative consequence they list, getting into arguments.
Ah, yes. Makes total sense if you don't understand where someone's coming from.
Misunderstandings are almost guaranteed. Conflict follows.
Miscommunication is argument fuel, basically.
Totally. You jump to conclusions, get defensive because you haven't actually heard them. The source quotes that advice. The only way to get the best of an argument is to avoid it.
And good listening is key to avoidance.
Fundamental.
Okay, so the source then shifts to strategies. These are framed initially in a Christian family context, but again, super broad application.
Very broad.
Strategy one, listen with love and patience.
Yeah, this connects listening directly to a core Christian value, love. It references 1 Corinthians.
So in a family, patiently listening, even to something small.
It's an act of love. It shows you value that person, their experience, as important in God's eyes, according to the source's perspective. The sibling example is good, just hearing about their day.
It shows you care, regardless of whether you find it riveting yourself. Okay, strategy 2. Seek to understand, not just to reply.
This is crucial. It's about empathy, really, trying to grasp the feeling behind the words, the perspective.
Not just waiting for your turn to talk.
Exactly. The source links this to Jesus' example of empathy, trying to see it from their shoes before you respond.
Like the parent example, listening to understand why the child is upset, instead of just jumping to scold them.
Right. It changes the whole dynamic, from confrontation to connection.
Much better. Strategy 3. Specific to the context. Listen during family devotions and prayers.
This highlights listening in a spiritual setting, showing respect for the teachings, for the leader.
But also engaging together, right?
Yeah, absorbing it collectively. The idea is it strengthens faith bonds, helps the family grow spiritually together.
Makes sense. Okay, now for some common mistakes. Things we all probably do. First up, interrupting.
The classic. We're all guilty sometimes.
Why is it so bad, according to the source?
Because it basically screams, my thoughts are more important than yours right now.
Yeah, it shuts the other person down.
Completely disrupts their flow, makes them feel unheard.
Definitely a barrier. Okay, mistake number 2. Thinking about your reply while they're still talking.
Your brain is busy crafting your brilliant point.
Instead of actually processing their point.
Exactly. You miss nuances, maybe the core emotion, because your focus is split. You're just waiting to jump in.
Been there. And mistake 3. Pretending to listen.
The old nod and smile while mentally planning dinner.
Or scrolling through your phone in your lap.
Right. It might feel polite, maybe, but people usually pick up on it.
Yeah, that lack of real engagement feels, well, fake. Inauthentic.
And that can damage trust more than just being honest about being distracted, perhaps. It feels disrespectful.
Okay, so the source gives a great Nigerian example. Chinedu and Ngozi. Walk us through that one.
Sure. It's a really clear illustration. Chinedu breaks Ngozi's toy by accident.
Okay.
Ngozi's first reaction. Interrupting, shouting, which, escalates things. No understanding happens.
Barrier up immediately.
But then it contrasts this with another possibility. Ngozi pausing, listening patiently to Chinedu's side of the story, trying to understand.
Okay. Different approach.
Totally different outcome, likely. They can actually sort it out peacefully. The source cleverly links this calmer, understanding approach to a Christian principle seeking peace from Romans.
It's a simple scenario, but it shows how that choice, listen first, can change everything. Diffuse conflict, build understanding.
Whether it's siblings, friends, colleagues, same principle applies.
So, wrapping this section up, what's the big takeaway? Why is listening so cool, so valuable?
I think the core message is listening isn't passive. It's an active skill.
Active, right?
It shows you care. It's how you really learn, and it's absolutely vital for preventing problems or sorting them out.
It's about giving your full attention, showing respect.
Exactly. That creates the space for real connection, real understanding.
It really boils down to being present, doesn't it? Engaged.
Pretty much.
Okay, so as we finish this deep dive into why listening might just be cooler than we thought, here's something to chew on.
Okay.
Think about it. How often do you truly give someone your complete, undivided attention? Like, really listen.
Good question.
And what could change in your family, with your friends, maybe even at work, if you consciously decided to shift your focus, to listen more deeply, more often? What hidden perspectives might you uncover?
That's a powerful thought to end on.
Definitely something worth exploring. Thanks for diving deep with us today. Welcome to the Deep Dive. You're here because you want to get smart, fast, right.
That's the goal.
Today, we're zeroing in on something really powerful. The art of listening. Got some fascinating material. Now, it focuses a bit on Christian families in Nigeria, but honestly, the insights, they spill over into, well, everywhere.
Absolutely. Friendships, neighbors, work. It's universal.
Exactly. And what jumps out right away in these sources is this idea that listening, it's maybe more important than talking.
Well, it's definitely presented as the engine for real understanding. It's not just about, passively hearing.
Right. It's about becoming well-informed by truly getting where others are coming from.
Spot on.
So our mission today, Pull out the key wisdom, the practical stuff, to help us all become better listeners. Think of it as unlocking a kind of superpower.
I like that. A superpower.
Okay, first section title, and this really caught my eye. Why listening is cooler than you think.
It's a great title because it flips the usual script, doesn't it?
Totally. We think influence comes from talking, but maybe listening is the secret weapon.
That's the angle here. It's presented as this really effective way to, well, connect and learn.
Okay, so benefit number one I mentioned, good listening actually makes people like you.
Yeah, and that makes intuitive sense, I think.
Doesn't it? When someone really listens to you, you feel seen, valued.
Exactly. It's about showing genuine interest.